in Kenya. I did
Right.
not realize that. I thought he was here in the United States.
That was pretty cool. That was pretty
Yeah, I
cool.
think that was a good one. He did a good job. Yeah, and the kids seem to like it too.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
so the next one is
Andrea Scott, and I just
Miss
text her
Scott. Okay.
so that she can come in early.
Okay, good. Excellent, excellent.
I wish I can go. Before I go into the next one, I'm going to go into all of them and disable the waiting room
Yeah,
because I think when I set it up, I put all waiting room. So I will, after this one
yeah.
is over, and I'll have I think we'll have a few minutes before I'll go in
Okay.
all of them and disable the waiting room and make
Disable
them
the
English
waiting room
and
and
make
make
them all.
sure anyone can share their
Yep,
screen.
yep. I'll
Yeah,
do that.
because if you're not on, we're gonna be stuck in the
Uh,
afternoon.
yeah, we had 45 people in the last session.
That was so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was pretty
that
cool.
was great. We had okay, but it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It was 10 different schools,
Schools, yeah,
but some of the schools let the kids
right.
like
Go
have
on.
the link.
And then some of them had
Yeah,
their classrooms.
right. And some of them were just the whole classroom. But yeah, 10 schools on that one. That was good.
I am going to call Andrea because it's 7 o'clock in her at her time now.
See, that's the problem we're running into is the
So
time difference.
let me call her just in case she's not all awake yet.
Okay. Okay.
Click done. Click done.
Hello again. How are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're muted, Miss Fintac.
Supposed to start at it's funny.
Miss Fintac, we can't hear you. You're muted. I can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
Supposed to start at 10:30.
I said, great morning, Ms. Ferguson. I said, we're coming in from Azalea Middle School. Miss White Bank students should be coming in at some point during the day. That's how I got the link to come on. I teach in her
All right,
class
so I
every
muted it for
Tuesday.
now. We'll start at
So for
10:30.
Black History Month, the students should have been coming in today to the presentations.
Excellent. Azalea Middle. Wonderful. All
All
right, I
right.
got that down.
Let's see what you guys have written.
There's another class on with us. Whose class is this? What school are you guys
All
coming
right.
from?
So I wrote for me when I was a teenager, when I was in high school and thinking about becoming an adult and what type of life I wanted. It was important for me to be financially independent. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew that
So
I'm going to
she's
be
on, but she
financially
doesn't realize
independent. I
we
will
can
not be
hear
dependent on
Right.
anybody.
for her
financially.
class. Okay.
And so my parents did not have a happy marriage, and my mom felt stuck and dependent on my
Mr.
father.
Watson, mute
And
this
so
other class.
I decided that whatever work I did in the future, that I would support myself and whatever children I had by myself, if
Can
necessary.
you hear me, Mr. Watson?
So
Mute this other
meaning that I
class.
would not have to depend
Yes,
on
I can
anybody
hear
for
you.
money.
I'm not
Mute
sure
this
who.
class. Mute the
Okay,
class.
So
yeah. Okay.
There we go.
A little TMI.
Good morning, classes. As you're joining, this is Miss Ferguson. Okay, so far I have Azalea Middle is joining us. Which school, what other schools are on the call with us today?
Madeira Beach is back again.
Hey! You're going to have a whole new speaker today for this period.
She's coming in now. When she went to her office, they locked her out. So she's she's gonna be in the hallway doing it, but she's coming in right now.
Oh, my goodness.
She's at a different campus, and when she went to that campus, it was locked. So
Oh
security's
no,
coming to let her in. But she said she'll start on her iPad and then go into her office.
that's okay. We're all working in the world of COVID. We're making it work. All right. Well, do we have other schools on the call? We've got Madeira Beach, Azalea Middle, Tomlinson Adult. Who else is joining us?
uh, Northeast High School,
All
Academy
right.
Academy of Information Technology, my AP Computer Science student.
Okay. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Looks like our speaker's making her way into the Zoom, so we'll just be patient and give her a chance to get set up. And then Mr. Watson, whenever you're ready, if you want to do the introductions.
Okay,
Thank
what
you,
I will
guys.
do while she's coming in, let me introduce Andrea Scott. She's originally from Kingston, Jamaica. Dr. Andrea Scott served as the provost and vice president. Am I getting feedback? Why am I getting
Yeah,
feedback? Hold
if
on.
everyone mute yourselves, all the
Let me mute
classes.
everybody.
Yeah.
I'll mute all. Okay, everybody's muted. Much better. Dr. Andrea Scott served as the provost and vice president of academic affairs at George Fox University in Newberg, Oregon. Formerly dean and professor of marketing at California Baptist University, Dr. Robert Jabb School of Business, she's eager to help champion the innovative and transformative approaches to higher education that life post-global pandemic mandates. She's a former Fulbright scholar and has worked in advertising with national clients such as General Mills and Wrigley and DDB and BBDO in Chicago. Provided logistic support for NBC during the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, was a business analyst for Honeywell Inc., and started and still owns The Right Touch, a marketing and creative writing business. So we want to welcome Andrea to us, and she has a wealth of information to share with us. Okay, Andrea, you're on.
I'm waiting, oh, waiting for my camera to kick in. Hello, everybody. I'm about to get lit into the building, so unfortunately I have to pause for a second. So talk amongst yourself, I'll be right back, okay? Thank you, sorry.
Okay. She went to Andrea went to one of her other campuses, and when she got there, the building was sealed. So she is having the security let her in. So once she gets in, she'll come back on. But and she'll share information with us. If you have any questions, what you can do, put them in the chat, and then as she comes in, as she's speaking, she can answer some of those questions. So if you have any questions for her, and the topic that she's speaking on is the power of networking. So if you have any questions about networking, put it in the chat, and as she speaks, she'll be able to answer those questions for you, and she'll be in a few minutes. But I just want to thank everyone for being a part of this Black American Speaking. It is just a great way to celebrate Black History Month in the county, sharing just a successful Black American and what they've done and some of the things that they've experienced as they were growing up. So thank you guys for being a part of this. We really appreciate you guys taking part.
I have a question. Miss McClure at Madeira Beach Avid class, you've been on the previous two presentations. What have you thought so far?
I think they fit really well because my second period class, that was perfect for the Avid curriculum, like planning, vision, what are you going to do with your life, the finance part. And then last period was the U.S. Diplomat, and that was actually a civics class. So that was like perfect to tie in, the civics part. And now we're back to like the networking. It's not like what you know, it's who you know kind of thing. So that fits back in with Avid. So they've been great.
Okay, very good.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us throughout the day today.
Okay, Andrea, you're on.
All right. Hello, everybody. I am so honored to be speaking with you young people. I went to Keswick Christian in St. Petersburg, so I grew up in Clearwater. So it's just fun to kind of holler back, so to speak, to where I grew up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about networking and the power of networking. And I got to tell you, you're never too young to start networking or to keep networking.
Morning 30-minute walk.
Sorry, my
at
phone
7:35
is going off. All right, let me just put that on silent. Anyway, it's just never too early. You're never too young to start thinking about your future and to take steps to be properly prepared. So my talk is very short. I am hoping that I'll get questions from you, but basically what I want to do is to tell you that networking begins with you, YOU, and give you 3 things to think about as you think about your future and what matters, okay? So first of all, let me just give a quick what I consider networking, rather than keep talking about something you're like, well, what does that really mean? When we think about networking, it's about leveraging or taking advantage of or using relationships to help you understand how to fulfill your purpose in life, okay? So networking is about understanding that to progress, you need the partnership of other people. Sometimes it's your family members or extended family members. Other times it's friends or teachers. A very valuable resource for you are your parents' friends, okay? Because sometimes you're like, I don't want to hear my parents right now. But their friends are interested in you because they're interested in your parents and they want to know what's happening in your life. And they'll spend time with you to help you figure out what you should be doing with your life. So there's something encouraging about that. And I want to really challenge you to think about how to get to know your parents' friends. So, okay, so networking is about building relationships with others in order to help identify and fulfill your purpose. Why you are on the planet. You're on the planet for a specific purpose and reason, and it could vary over the different seasons of your life, but you're here on purpose. And part of what networking does is help you discover what it is you can do with your life in the very different seasons that you will encounter. Okay. All right. So YOU. So the first one is Y stands for yes. Get in the habit of saying yes more often, being willing to try new things and opportunities, being willing to sign up for service opportunities, being willing to take a different class, to extend yourself, and maybe go a little bit outside your comfort zone and talk to people that you wouldn't normally talk to, or try activities and events that you wouldn't normally try. So Y is for yes. Part of how you grow your network and get to discover new things about yourself is being introduced to folks who are different from you, older than you, while had a different life experience. Those things help grow your mind. And part of the benefits of networking is that you're not insular. You don't just think about what you know, you are more open to other ideas. And that's what O is for, being open-minded heart, being open. O is for open-minded, being open-minded, having an open heart, and keeping your eyes and ears open, everything open. And I say this because when you network, one of the things that will benefit you is to listen more than talking. Right now, you and I are not networking. I'm talking to you. If we were networking, I'd be talking a lot less and listening to you and letting you share your life with me as a way to understand another person's experience and broaden my horizons, okay? So Y is for saying yes to new and different opportunities. O is for being open-minded, open-hearted, having your eyes and ears open while you're experiencing those different things. And then the U is to understand that this takes time and discipline. This is not something you're going to figure out how to do right away, but you need to get in the habit, even as a young person, learning how to talk to adults, how to talk to children who are, or other young people who are not your friends. You grow in the habit of having conversations with people that you don't know. Because in doing so, you do become more open-minded, more open-hearted, your eyes and ears are open, you develop the skill of listening well, and in listening well, you can learn all sorts of things about yourself, about other people, get ideas, and the purpose that has been dropped in, that you've been created with, will eventually come into light as you spend time with other people. It really is that simple. So saying yes to other things, being open-minded and open-hearted about new opportunities, etc., and about new ideas, okay? And then understanding that it'll take time. You're going to keep growing in your skill. It'll take discipline to stop talking and to listen and to ask questions. All those things take time. But as you get stronger and stronger at it, you will find that people will want to spend time with you because you're a good listener, because you ask interesting questions, because you want to help them find and fulfill their purpose as well. So those are the things. That's YOU, and networking begins with you. And there's a lot of power in networking. I want to close with just a little example from my life to help you understand how real this is. So before I give my story, for the shy and introverted folks in the room who are like, I could never talk to anybody. Networking is possible for any kind of personality. There's not one way to network. You can be open-minded with your books, with one-on-one conversations, be it versus group opportunities. So know that this is something that can work for anyone. You need to find out how to make it work for you. But I wouldn't let shyness or bashfulness or being introverted or being new or any of those things stop you from finding how to get to know others and to remain open-minded and open-hearted. Okay, so the quick story for me is that in high school, way back when, I was in student government. I was part of the student government operations, and I was also a cheerleader. And I got to, so I would, it's a small school. You get to know your classmates, et cetera, and you might get to know a parent or two. And one of the parents said to me, Andrea, have you ever considered an internship? I didn't even know what an internship was. I had no idea. I was like, what's that? Rather than saying no, or I don't want to talk to this parent because I don't really know him, I asked a question because I didn't know. And so he told me what it was. He says, do you have any interest in engineering? Now, I got to tell you, my background is more art. I wound up going into business. Engineering? No, but I was curious. It was a way to earn money. It was a way to learn about business. I didn't have to pursue engineering. I would be part of a business. And it was an internship. It was 6 weeks out of my life in the summer? Why not? That decision changed the whole trajectory of my life, young people. It changed everything, and a whole new world of business and interfacing with, I worked for Honeywell. It was for Honeywell Space Systems in Clearwater. I still to this day don't really know what a gyro does, but having worked for Honeywell led me into a world that I had not known or considered. And I am now the vice president running over every single professor and what happens at George Fox University, which is a university that's over 135 years old. I'm the first Black woman in this role, and I have been the first Black or woman something in a bunch of different opportunities because I said yes. I asked a question, I explored, I was open. Nobody in my family had done this before, but I was open. And from that, Dr. Rasmussen introduced me to other people who introduced me to other people who introduced me to other people. And I have just been provided opportunity after opportunity. God has put a lot of blessing in my life, but I've also remained very open to having a conversation. For the folks who are high schoolers, or maybe where internships are possible, something I want you to look into is called an informational interview. In an informational interview, you do not ask for a job. And networking is not about asking for a job. It is about asking questions about asking someone to describe what their job is. Those are two different things. And folks love to talk about themselves. So when you say, tell me, what do you do? Tell me a little bit more about your job. They're more than willing to do that. And sometimes those informational interviews will give you a little glimpse into what's possible for you career-wise. And it also gives them a chance to meet you. That's how I got my first job. I went and asked for an informational interview. I was not asking for a job. I didn't even know if a job was available. I just wanted to know what happens in advertising. What does a job in advertising look like at this company? Before I left this woman's office, she said, I need you to fill out an application. Yay! And I worked, that's how I launched my professional career. So again, the journey might be very different for you. I'm not saying this is prescriptive. I'm giving you a descriptive understanding of what's possible and encouraging you to remember that networking begins with you saying yes to opportunities, being open-minded, open-hearted, open-eared, and open eyes. And then finally understanding that it's going to take time and discipline to get better and better at speaking to other people. And that's it for me, Godfrey. I'm happy and hoping to field questions.
Okay, great. If you have any questions, if you raise your hand, Shanae will call on you and you could ask questions to Mrs. Scott. I have a question, Mrs. Scott. What was the, of all the places you networked, right? Were they receptive to you? Did you get any negative information that kind of discouraged you?
I never had anyone say no to an informational interview. Never, not once, not once. Because it's costing them 10, 15 minutes out of their day and they get a break from what they're doing. It's where the challenge comes in is getting access to the person. And that can, but it's not negative, especially as a young person. When you get older, it becomes much harder because people are like, oh, you want a job. But when you're young, take advantage of the youth and say, I just want to learn more about what you do. I've been telling this advice to people for years, and I don't know of anyone who's had someone say, nope, I will not share with you. I've never heard of it.
Okay, Dr. Scott, Miss McClure at Madeira Beach Fundamental School has a question for you. Her AVID class has a question.
Okay.
At what point in your life did you decide that you wanted to be a networker?
You know, it's, for me, networking is not an identity, it is a way of life. So at what point did I decide that I think being an extrovert helps because you're constantly wanting to meet new people, which is really what networking is about. So I've probably been networking from the time I was on the playground in Jamaica, trying to get a deal, you know, try to negotiate. Let me go first. No, you go. Well, you know, remember when we did this and how about that? And so it's probably been most of my life. But as far as professional networking, high school, because the wanting to have income so that I could buy the things that my parents wouldn't buy for me, and to have some independence help prompt the like, how can I do this because I want that. Mom and dad said nope, you know. So yeah, maybe high school, but I do think the act of getting to know other people and allowing other people to get to know me happened very early. I follow the teachings of the Bible, and there's a verse in scripture that says, he who wants friends must make himself friendly. And so I think I took that verse to heart really early. And networking is really about pursuing professional friendships. I think maybe is one way to think about it. It's a little different than regular friendship. Thank you for the question. Hopefully that answered.
Excellent way to put it. Absolutely. Okay, so we have a question in the chat. What's the hardest thing about networking?
Oh, approaching a stranger. Absolutely. It's a form of public speaking, and research tells us that public speaking is like, there are people for whom public speaking is scarier than spiders and snakes and all the horrible things you can think of. So it's approaching a stranger. That is probably the scariest thing, but this is why the U stands for discipline and practice. With all hard things, the more often you do them, you develop muscles. I'm pointing at my stomach, you can't see. You develop muscles that makes it get easier and easier to do hard things. But if you never practice, the same thing like lifting weights. If you don't keep practicing, every time you pick up a weight, it's going to be heavy. But as you practice and your muscles get stronger, you're able to pick up more heavier and heavier weights. Same thing with networking and approaching strangers. As you get more rehearsed and practice, you learn tips, skills, know when to approach a person, know when to, maybe not that person, maybe not this time. It takes time. And again, as you network, you will gather mentors, people who are older than you, more seasoned and experienced than you, and they will help you learn how to do this so that you can be successful. These are good questions. I hope there's some more.
I really like that analogy, Dr. Scott, of using it as a muscle. The more you talk to people, the more you network, the more you put yourself out there, the stronger and the easier it will become.
Absolutely.
Any more questions, guys? These are excellent questions. You can raise your hand, you can put it in the chat, you can unmute yourself.
Oh, we have a good one from Sophia. Sophia, what is it?
What's the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Wow. I've been blessed with
that's a great question. Yes,
yeah. I have been blessed with a lot of good advice. I think the best one, or in the top collection, is to bring your entire self, be your whole entire self, and remain consistent so you can be recognized everywhere and everywhere. And that's what I do. Just bring your entire being to your job, to your friends, to your school. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Thank you for that question, Sophia.
I love it. Okay, another question in the chat. Is there, I'm going to interpret this, I think, Jorge.
Okay.
Is it ever a time where you feel like you're too old to network? And then the second part of the question is, how do you get an intern position or an informational interview at a college or a technical school?
Okay, great question. So to the questions. So the first one, no, you're never too old. Never too old. As long as you are breathing, you can network. Okay. And remember, it's about both seeking your purpose or helping to discover and fulfill your purpose and doing so for others. So it's just not, even though networking starts with you, it's not just about you. All right. So you have to be thinking about, you want folks to help you, yes, but you're also letting them get to know you so you can be a resource to them too. Because that's part of how the network grows. Like, I remember I had that conversation with that young person who blah, blah, blah. My cousin's son or daughter was also struggling or had questions about that. I should connect them. So it's about what you give back, not just what you get. Okay. Networking is a dialogue. As far as, so it's not too old. If anything, the more you're alive, the longer you live, the more potential networking hubs you have, because you've interfaced with more people because you've been on the planet longer. You know, you might need to reframe your friends to realize that they could be resources for you because they move in circles that you don't, right? As far as how to get an informational interview, this is why networking helps. To cold call an organization, in other words, to call without relationship and ask for an interview, is a challenge. It's a struggle, and you might have a harder time. However, if you are able, let's say that you want to be in some part of manufacturing, let's say you want to be in the finance part of manufacturing, but you only know somebody who is in the production part of manufacturing. And you're like, how am I going to get an informational interview? You go to the person you know and say, dear person, I really want to understand more about finance. Could you help me put me in touch with HR so that I could ask for an informational interview? So most times you have to start with HR, the human resources arm of the organization, because they would know who would be the possible person for you to talk to. I'm trying to think what other ways you can get in. often just knowing an employee at the place and have the employee give you access to HR with that request for an informational interview is better than cold calling any company. And when you get a hold of HR, it's often challenging because you go to HR for jobs. And so if you're going to go for informational interview, quickly identify that you're a student. Students get a lot better access than adults. So keep that in mind. I hope that helps. Don't give up, keep trying.
Any more questions? I don't think so.
Okay.
So anything that you would like to leave us with, Dr. Scott? I really like that you're never too old, and the older you get, the more your network grows. Anything else you want to leave us with?
I want to challenge the young folks to start networking today, to push yourself, get bold, and maybe there's someone in your classroom or at your school that you've never spoken to. And I'm not saying to like make up an artificial conversation. It could be practiced by just saying hello. You see a shirt you like or a bag you like, hey, that's a nice bag. Hey, that's a nice shirt. This is the small baby steps that we take in getting familiar and used to and comfortable with our own voices, right? So it takes practice, but if you don't speak, if you don't reach out, if you don't show kindness, all these things, then your networking skills will always be weak. So, and it's amazing to me how when you practice acts of kindness, when you are courteous and consistent, those things other people notice. And sometimes they will come to you because you appear to be a safe person or a helpful person. And that's part of networking. That's part of networking. Allow the system to help you discover who you're meant to be and what you're supposed to do at various seasons of your life. Really grateful for this opportunity. This was fun. I wish I could see more of the classrooms. Most of the cameras aren't on, but I'm glad to see Catherine Waldron's students. So that makes me really happy. Hi, yes. Thank you for the invitation, Mr. Watson. I appreciate it.
You guys say thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. It's so good
You
seeing
bet.
you. You know, there's
All right.
somebody on there that you might know. Denise, you know who that is?
Well, I do, but her camera's off. There she is. Hey, good to see you. All right.
All right, Andrea.
Okay, take care.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.